I take him for rides around the Bay Area. I take him to San. I took him to go through the Mission District to show him all the murals. He had no idea. So we just did I did a private mural tour, and I take him to Berkeley and Berkeley Hills, and because he remembers Berkeley from the '60s and all that. So he likes to cruise the Bay Area, but we go down Moyser Lane from up there in Berkeley, and he looks at it. You can see the whole bay, both bridges, and he says the Bay Area is the most beautiful place in California.
That was David Gonzales, creator of Homies and this year's San Francisco Lowrider Parade Grand Marshal. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco, a podcast about artists, activists, and working people who make this city what it is. In this bonus episode, I chat with David about his life, growing up in Richmond, creating Homies originally as a comic strip, and what it means to be tapped for this year's Lowrider Parade, which takes place tomorrow, September 20th, in the Mission. Here's my conversation with David Gonzales.
David Gonzales, also known as the Homie King. Greetings and good morning, San Francisco.
And where are you located today, David?
I'm in on the outskirts of Fairfield.
Gotcha.
Which many of you might know is between Vallejo and Sacramento, about halfway, and about 20 minutes away from Napa. So, I'm from, and I still claim. In fact, I was just there yesterday, Richmond, California. So that's where I grew up and lived till I was about 18, and then I went off to college. But that was my hometown.
Well, let's dig into that a little bit. You growing up in Richmond, California. You don't have to say your exact age if you don't want to, but maybe give us like a decade of when you'd say like you kind of came of age and maybe your like teen years, that kind of thing. And
Yeah,
what it was like.
My age is kind of an important part of the whole Homie story because I do the first Homie strips. The first character was myself, and that was drawn in high school. So that was 76.
Okay.
So I started drawing the first strips during art class in high school. And I started doing local car show poster flyers. And then those days, everything was hand drawn, and then you Xerox copies and you post them up around town. So I would do car show events like for San Jose shows, Richmond, a few for San Francisco, maybe Sacramento, but local events that were put out. And that's in the mid 70s. So you're talking about 76. So I graduated in 78. The Homies first got published in Lowrider Lowrider magazine in 78. So that's what I use as an established date is 1978 with the brand. You'll see that number a lot. That's when they hit the next level of notoriety.
Can I ask how that happened, David? Did you send off to them or did they contact you? Like, how did that all come about?
I was doing the strips in a smaller magazine called Lowriders Are Happening that came out of San Francisco. So I was really discovered by a woman named Bonnie Reese from San Jose. She started seeing my car show posters, and she asked me to do, to do more posters for her, first of all. And she sometimes advertised in Lowrider. So I think that's when I caught on their eye. But all the posters I did had characters in them. And then she saw my comic strips that I had been doing in school. And she says, oh, gosh. So she published a couple of them in her book, Lowriders Are Happening. And then that's where they caught the eye of the publisher, Sonny Madrid, he was from San Jose. He had a meeting with me, and the rest was history. He says, this is big. You want to come do these for Lowrider magazine? I said, certainly. So it was a big opportunity I didn't realize what a big event in my life it was to be published at that young age.
I was just about to ask that. Yeah. And sometimes it's better not to know, right? As a kid, you're just like, let's just do this thing.
Yeah, it was never a business plan. In fact, I used to mail off comic strips to newspapers like
awesome.
The Chronicle and Richmond Independent to see if I get my little strips published. But I'm a kid. It's just there was a long shot. So, but I kept trying, and then all of a sudden, somebody came to me. I remember when I went to art college. I went to California College of Arts and Crafts in Oakland. It's a great school.
Back when it was and crafts.
Yeah. And then they had a really good a cartoon class or instructor or whatever. He had his own
Hmm.
strip already, but he was so amazed that he had a student that was already being published. He just loved it, so he let me work on all my strips at during college. So that was really
Heck
kind of cool.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was fun. But the strips started early. The first strips were me, my friends. My first strip I drew myself going on a cruise, and then I went to a party, and there's characters at the party, and next thing you know, they're in the homie sets. They live forever with the brand, the different characters. There's one strip I did, the homies do San Fran. I did homies do San Jose, homies do LA, and I did one homies do San Fran, and they go cruise the mission. 24th and
Yes.
Mission. I even have that old doggy diner store
Oh,
on 24th and Missions in their California halls in the strip.
oh
But
yeah.
it's way cool because they go out and they cruise to different actual cities. Like when I took them to San Jose, I had the Jack in the Box on Story and King. So it's an iconic part of history. But the characters, like in the first panel, I remember I passed by the park, which is now I think Cesar Chavez Park. It used to on Army. It used to be Army Street. That's how far
Correct.
back I go. And I had three characters out front. I had Mosca, Sharky, and I forget the third character, which is Fly and a guy that looked like a shark. And sure enough, they were in series two. They've lived forever. I told their story, but
Yes.
that's how they could have just been a little extra in a panel in a strip, and now I bring them to the family. We have 100 and she's how I don't even I lost track of how many characters we have. About
Dang.
300, over 300, and they're not all
Yeah.
homies. I have my Palermo family, which is a Sicilian mob family, turned legit, opening up a chain of pizza parlors. And
Ooh.
I have Mijos, which is the children, the smaller people know them as the little homies. And I have the trailer park, which I'll let your own imagination tell you what they look like. So all of these were put into vending machines, and they're all part of my extended homie families. I have my homie clowns, which are here again. But it all started as just drawing my friends. It was never a business plan. I mean I went
Right.
to school to get a job, and I did get a job with the post office as an illustrator.
Oh.
Eventually, I worked my way from mail carrier up. I did a mural in Fremont. Maybe some of your people on this podcast have seen it on. I think it's on Thornton and Dustleberry, but it's a large mural I did, the journey of a letter, and it caught the division's attention from Oakland, the marketing communications. So they hired me there to move in as an illustrator, and that's where I worked until I left the post office to start doing my graphics full time. Big decision.
Man, you are an example. This is your life, like your
Yeah.
entire life from a young age.
Yeah,
That's
and one of
awesome.
the cool things I tell people, and you're going to relate to this in the Bay Area, because I moved to LA for a while. My company's based in LA in the town, city of Paramount, and a lot of my fan base is LA, obviously, and in fact, a lot of them don't even realize it started in the Bay Area. They're just now finding out. Um, but what was unique about the Bay Area, growing up in Richmond, is we had friends that were Filipino, that were black, that were white, and we all used to lowride together in Richmond. I mean, it was, it was just, we didn't look at race that much. Most of my friends were Chicano just because that's who was around me.
Hmm.
But, we didn't see, when I went to LA, I didn't see that.
Hmm.
You don't see that, it's more segregated. You don't see that diverse family around you. And that was kind of nice about Homies. I think that's why the brand has a multicultural feel to it. And through the course of time, I did a Pinoy, a Filipino homie. I did several white homies. I did a Korean homie. I did a Japanese homie. I did multiple black African American black homies. I've got everybody. I got a Samoan homie.
Yes.
It's just like and that's part of my Bay Area upbringing is I want to include them all. I want them to feel like welcome to our audio. You
Well,
know,
that's perfect for my podcast this season because my theme, I have a different theme every season. The theme this season is every kind of people. And
yeah,
you just nailed it. And but that's also just that's like you said, that's those are your people because that's how you
yeah.
grew up, right?
It's what we see in the Bay Area, and we're fortunate to be, I took my father into Richmond yesterday. He's 96. He used to
Oh,
low ride, and
wow.
back in the
Yeah.
day in Richmond too. We did an interview for someone, and they were so intrigued that because he did low riding in Richmond so many years ago. I
Yes.
mean, I come from
Yes.
another second generation of it.
Hmm.
And he always says, I take him for rides around the Bay Area. I take him to San. I took him to go through the Mission District to show him all the murals. He had no idea. So we just did I did a private mural tour, and I take him to Berkeley and Berkeley Hills, and because he remembers Berkeley from the '60s and all that. So he likes to cruise the Bay Area, but we go down Moiser Lane from up there in Berkeley, and he looks at it, and you can see the whole bay, both bridges, and he says the Bay Area is the most beautiful place in California, and he just loves it. So us Bay Area people, yeah, there's a lot of people, they bail out, they leave or whatever, they come for different reasons, whether it's taxes or business climate or just whatever. It's expensive to live here, but you gotta love the Bay Area. I mean, the
There's a
people.
reason it's expensive.
Yeah, yeah, and we, with all the sports teams, yeah, yeah. I Raider Oakland A's fan, and so I've been going through some serious pain in recent years. But we grew up with sports teams everywhere. I have family in New Mexico, and they're like, they're like, you guys, this is unbelievable. You can go to a Niner, a Giants, an A's, a Warrior game. You can go see the Sharks. You can go. I mean, it's just we're very fortunate to be in the Bay Area for a lot of reasons, and our car
Yeah.
culture and our
Mhm.
the passion behind it. Like with this, can I segment my onto the parade and Roberto Hernandez is a. I've gone back a few years with him. I did a booth one time. He does the Carnival. From what I understand, he produces or very involved in producing the Carnival celebration there in the Mission. And I had a big booth there one time. He invited me over, so I've been knowing him off and on since. He was my connection to get the rights to do a Cesar Chavez figure. He connected me with the
Wow.
family and the UFW people, and I did, which was on a little off segment. The first book I read as a kid was the story of Cesar Chavez, and here I am, 50 plus years later, and I created the first licensed Cesar Chavez image. So that's where my life has gone. So Roberto, he called me and you told me about the parade, which I was aware of over the last couple of years. I haven't attended, but I knew it was a big deal to Grand Marshal it, and I was like, wow. He goes, yeah, we want to the bear, we want to, you know, give you your day in the sun, kind of so to speak. And so it was an exciting opportunity. So we'll be rolling through with my 41 Chevy. I call it the Homie King.
Oh my God.
And we'll be rolling through and we'll have cosplay people in the car. So we'll have a few of the homies with masks on and carry. And we got this group from San Jose called the San Jose Homies, and they ride the lowrider bikes, and they have a 3-pod bike with a big boom box that they ride. So we're gonna make quite the scene and we're gonna lead the parade. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun event. From what I've seen, and especially a lot of the photos, Pat, it's a well attended event. It's a safe, monitored event. I know some big news stations are covering the event live, which is exciting. And it's all, it's going to be a very secure event. I mean, they coordinate well with, the powers that be to make sure everybody's safe. And we anticipate good weather. If it's hot, and that means it's going to be mild in San Francisco. So the
Exactly.
rest of the Bay is probably going to be hot, but San Francisco should be just right.
Yeah, our
But
summer's just getting started. You know
yeah,
that. It's just
yeah,
getting
we
started.
know.
Yeah.
People always show up I have family come from other states. They come to San Francisco and they show up in shorts. Oh, we're in California. They think they're going to LA. You're going to San Francisco, bring a hoodie.
That's why
So
you always see those folks with the San Francisco jackets
yeah,
in
yeah, they're
July.
buying them there. The vendors must be great. In a
Yeah.
different life, I'd be out there hustling hoodies. It's funny now that I'm out of the legal, I don't know what the word is, but when I was young, I did a shirt I used to do like my little knockoff pro sports teams. I did a classic shirt. Some of the old timers might remember. It was called Rice and Ronnie, the San Francisco treat. That was mine. I did.
Yes.
I was known for my. I got shut down finally by the powers that be, but I did
Oh man.
Battle of the Bay with McGuire and Canseco and the Golden Gate
Mm-hmm.
Bridge during I called it the Earthquake series. I
Yes.
sold that. I did Oakland's Most Wanted with Ricky Henderson. I did the Monster
Yes.
Bash shirts. So I did a lot of sports. That's what I did before I did the cultural stuff. And then I kind of got shut down on that because obviously I was biting on pro. They don't take kindly to that. But that's why I said back in the old days, I'd be hustling San Francisco hoodies.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
got into doing homie T-shirts, and the T-shirts preceded the toys. So we
Oh,
did
okay.
T-shirts for years, and that was very successful. I got kind of discovered by Hot Topic. We were in there. We were in Urban Outfitters, Miller's Outpost,
Oh yeah.
a store from way back, and that was what the first run with homies was. The comic strips ended. They only lasted like 3 years. It was all based on a short-lived underground strip. And then like I said, I went to work for the post office for about 7 or 8 years. And then while I was in Oakland, we used to do advertisements for like the Oakland A's, the Warriors. So I designed some T-shirts for them for the
Oh,
advertisement program and some signage. And
nice.
I said, hey, this T-shirt designing stuff is pretty easy. So I bought myself a little press and started printing T-shirts in the garage, hanging them up on clotheslines. So I really grinded it out as a lot of art. That might be an incentive to a lot of artists that might be out there that you can put in the work. I did the vendors. I went to the swap meets, car shows, fiestas, popped up my little booth. That's where this all started. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, company was basically born in San Jose Swap Meet, the various flea
Ah,
market.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
love
that's
it. So is your car in this year's Lowrider Parade? Is your car gonna be like decked out in homies
yeah.
gear
Well, we're
and
gonna
branding
have
stuff?
real homies in it,
Nice.
okay?
That's the
And
cosplay you
I
said.
got a special treat. I ordered a nice crown. I might even I ordered it to ride in the back of the car by my plaque. But then my people are singing. They say, "You got to wear the crown, Dave." I said, "I don't know." So it's a parade, it's a show. We'll see. But it's going to be well. It's not as an it's a real clean car. It's a real nice car on its own. It's a piece of work. The 41 Chevy is the most accessorized car Chevrolet ever made, and
Oh,
I have most of the accessories on it: spotlights and floodlights and just it's a pretty car. There'll be prettier cars out there, but my car is known as the Homie King, so it has its own its own mystique about it. Is it's my car, but the cars that are going to be going to that show are just candy and chrome and glass and hydraulics and lifting and there's a big from what I understand there's a big car hop going on that and if, most people have seen a video or two of car hoppings, but when you see if you're there and you see it in real life, you're just going to it's just amazing. And
yep.
I'm so glad CBS is going to cover it for, I think
Hey
it's like,
Pix.
yeah, for 2 hours, I think they're going to cover it and the hop. And we're really excited about that. I mean, it shows a real awareness. It feels good to be seen.
Yeah.
These people some of these cars are easily worth 100, 200 grand and up. I mean, there's some
Amazing.
valuable cars and it's a parade. You're just going to be amazed at what you're going to see cruising down the boulevard.
If I can just real fast, it's amazing. It's been televised in years past, is my understanding, and
Oh,
that's
I know.
that's perfect for folks who can't make it out because I
Yeah.
want this podcast to encourage people to go out to the mission on Saturday the 20th,
Yeah. You
right?
want to,
And see this stuff, like you said, to see it for yourself without
yeah.
anything but maybe your glasses. You and it, just like there's nothing
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, it's that moment when the cars pass and you're hearing the sounds and you're hearing the engines and you're hearing the hydraulics and slam and you're hearing the beefed up motors and
Yeah.
the people cheering and me. I've got I picked up a mega horn so I have a police siren when I come by. I'll be blasting a
Yes.
police siren. No,
You got it.
we
David, you got to do
plan.
that wearing your crown, man.
Yeah, yeah. When he honored me with the Grand Marshal, I says, "Well, I'm gonna have to put on a show."
Hell yeah.
And we're gonna. And you're right. I mean, a lot of people, it's easy. You're gonna get a good view sitting home and watching it on your TV. But we want to encourage, as many people to see it. It's just to experience that,
Yep.
because some people might not know the street culture of it. They might say, oh, they're lowriders, but they don't realize how beautiful some of these cars are. And it's it's Americana culture. I mean, that's people used to say, well, one of the things about homies is that it's got something that's in common to all parts of Americana, and that's cars.
Yep.
It's car culture, and as we talked about writing the story of, in someday, one of my dreams is to have an animated show. But the storyline was, well, what's going to be? Well, let's focus on the cars. Let's focus on building cars, as we talked about. It's a car shop like the show Taxi, and you catch the drama that goes on around the people that build a car, that build these custom cars. And because you got I like rockabilly cars or rat rods. I like muscle cars. I like lowriders. I like hot rods. I like bikes. I have a homies bike club. We've released a series of motorcycles, choppers.
Nice.
We did that back 15, 20 years ago. So I like all forms of street urban culture. So I depict a lot of it with the homies, but it's just grown as a brand. And to this day, it's still, I still see stuff and I just shake my head and I said, that guy's got to be a homie. He's got to
be. Yep. Well, I would think a homie when you see one, David.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you want to tell folks, we've already kind of plugged the event. Do you want to tell folks how to find you or any information about your company or what you're doing or anything like that?
Yeah.
Chance for you to plug away for yourself.
Well, thank you. It's we have a website. You can buy homie toys and I do a lot of other art also, not just the homies cartoon art. I do a lot of cultural, religious. Like I said, I have a rockabilly line. I have a haircut line. I have motorcycle line. I have the lowrider line. So all that stuff can be found at homiestoys.com. Okay. That's our website. We can ship directly. You can also find our homies gear now we're in Zoomies, Spencer Gifts, or Spencer's it's called now.
Yeah.
So you can find our stuff out there. You'll see it. It's the same brand. The figures, you can even find them on eBay. There, a lot of the old original figurines are now very valuable. So if you have some in your closet, sitting in a shoebox somewhere, take a look on eBay, find that character, and find out what he's worth. There's individual characters that are $200-300. There's individual cars that we sold in Walmart for $19.99. One recently sold for over $8,000.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's some of the old toys are now vintage collectibles, and it kind of makes me feel good to see that.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, David. And
one more exciting thing.
Let's do it.
Okay, I mentioned my tequila, right? We're launching a tequila that's coming out in about 2 months. We recently entered the SIPS Award. I think that's based in San Francisco. It's an international award show for spirits, for bottle design, for taste testing. So we won best blue ribbon concept in bottle design. We designed it's an actual homie. You take his head off and you pour your tequila out. So it won blue ribbon, which is very rare. And then we won we won some good awards, like double gold for like our añejo and our reposado and our different tequilas. So that's exciting. But the thing that we just dropped was some of you people might be familiar with Loteria, the famous game out of Mexico. We did a license with them and we call it Homies Loteria, and we dropped that. And it's just completely on fire right now. So all that stuff can be found on my website. And I look forward to you guys watching us rolling down the streets of the Mission with me and my homies there in San Francisco, City by the Bay.
That was David Gonzales. We recorded this episode over Zoom. On the next episode of Storied San Francisco, meet and get to know Lisa Davidson, iron worker on the Golden Gate Bridge. Episode 3 drops September 30th, wherever you get podcasts. Music for Storied San Francisco was produced, performed, and curated by Otis McDonald. Our contributing producer is Aaron Lim of Bitch Talk Podcast. And the show is produced and hosted by me, Jeff Hunt. Now in our 8th season, we have more than 280 episodes available on our website, storiedsf.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If possible, please rate and review the show. I want to know what you think. Find us on Substack for our monthly newsletter and more. And follow us on Instagram and Threads @storiedsf. Reach us there or email us at storiedsf@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Try to stay hopeful in these dark times. Keep being wacky, creative, and kind out there. And we'll see you next time on Storied San Francisco. We acknowledge and respect the first humans of the unceded land we call San Francisco, the Ramaytush Ohlone. We condemn the genocide of these and other tribes across the Western Hemisphere. We honor their legacy and history, and we support rematriation and sovereignty efforts.